Hello everybody, welcome to Introduction to Java Programming. In this session, we will discuss identifiers as part of basic programming constructs of Java. In the previous session, we have discussed char set as part of basic programming constructs. Now let's understand identifiers. Identifiers are unnamed words in a programming language. Let's understand more details about it. If you see a program, you will see so many tokens, which are nothing but the named words. So this program has several tokens. So let's list out actually. So what's public is one token, then class is another token, which you can see, which is like a word. Then we have first, which is the class name. And then we have again public. So it has got already repeated. So we will go with static. Then we have void. And then we have main. And then we have string. And then we have args. And later we have system. And then we have out. And then we have one more named word, that is println. And of course, we have a word that is a hello word. Hello Java, right? So it's a hello Java. So these are all the named words in a programming language, and all these are called identifiers. All these are tokens, and all these are called identifiers, except the special symbols. The special symbols such as curly braces, semicolon, parenthesis, everything else you can see as an identifier. Okay, so these identifiers are different kinds. These identifiers can be variables, these identifiers can be constants, they can be keywords, they can be data types, especially primitive data types, and they can be names of classes, methods, interfaces, packages, or they can be some literal values, string literals. So for example, in the previous program, we have seen something called hello Java. So it's a string literal. So these are all the identifiers, named words, right? Yeah. So what are variables? We will understand. Constants we will understand, and keywords we will just know what are different keywords which are available in Java, and there are 53 keywords, and we just see that list and understand each of the keyword as we progress in the course. And there are 8 primitive data types. You can clearly say there are only 8 primitive data types to represent numbers, to represent character, to represent um, Boolean values. When we speak of numbers, again, integer, that means whole numbers, and floating point numbers. Okay, so let's now understand from keywords onward. So let me actually open one presentation here. Yeah. So keywords are also called reserved words. And as I told, Java has these 53 keywords. And all these keywords are called some predefined meaning. So as part of the language specification, the designers of the Java have come up with all these keywords, and everything of it has a specific meaning. As an example, if I say int, it is going to specify the following is going to be a whole number. So whatever the thing after int you write, that is going to be a variable or maybe a constant, which is actually representing a whole number. When you say something called public, we already understood. So it's a visibility specifier, also called access specifier. Uh, Once you make something as public, that can be accessed from anywhere. Like that, each and everything is having a predefined meaning. As part of the basic programming constructs, there are at least 20 keywords. As part of class uh, definition and class related, we have few. Object related, we have few. Exception handling, we have 5 keywords. Like that, based on the concept, we will actually categorize the keywords and we will understand all the 53 as of now. So keywords are also called reserved words, which have a predefined meaning in the language. So a reserved word or a keyword cannot be used as a variable because it has a predefined meaning. You cannot use this as a variable. Let's understand what is variable also. Yeah, so before actually going to understand variables, etc., what are different rules to write identifiers? So this is very basic. If you have knowledge of any previous language like C, C++, or Python, you might have already understood. Otherwise, these rules will applicable for any programming language, and let's understand. And yeah, so before we go and see the rules, let's observe what are all the tokens we have used actually. See here, almost all tokens have been used with just letters, English alphabets. We have not used numbers or special characters over here. Now it will actually give you a clarity when actually we go through these particular rules. Yeah, so these identifiers can contain letters. Letters mean capital A to Z and small a to Z. They can contain digits, that is 0 to 9, and can contain underscore and dollar sign. That's it. So an identifier can be combination of letters, digits, and only two special symbols are allowed, the two underscore and dollar sign. So you cannot use any other special symbol or special character as part of a identifier or a named word. And mostly we use letters so that it is easy. Sometimes we will say A1, A2, A3, S1, S2, S3, right? So the combo of letters and digits will work. Sometimes when you have more than two words, then you will actually associate with underscore, right? For example, I can say max age, max underscore age. Okay, first page, first underscore page, first name, first underscore name. Like that, underscore also can be used to join two words. In fact, a dollar sign also can be used as part of your identifier. But you cannot use spaces. There cannot be any spaces. So these identifiers cannot contain white spaces. If you are writing first space name, then that is not considered as a valid identifier. That means it's not a valid variable, constant, keyword, or a valid name. And identifier cannot also begin with a digit. They must begin with a letter. You cannot begin with a digit. You can actually begin with dollar and underscore also, but not with a digit. Okay, so you cannot write int 1 ABC, but vice versa is possible. Int ABC1, that is possible. Okay, and they cannot contain white spaces, and Java is case sensitive language. That means it bothers about the case. So age in smaller case and age in mixed case or age in uppercase are different actually. So they are different variables. Okay, and the last one we have already seen. So keywords cannot be used as names of variables. Okay, so summary. What is a summary? For example, yeah, so I want to declare a variable like this here, string name. This is possible. This is a valid identifier. So if I want to say one name, so it's not possible because an identifier cannot actually start with a digit, but I can actually say with the dollar name, this is absolutely fine. Underscore name, this is absolutely fine. And then, for example, I want to say this as a first name. I cannot write like this because white spaces are not allowed. Okay, so either you combine it or you actually separate with the underscore. Otherwise, we can actually also use dollar. This is valid actually. And there is no limitation on the length. Initially, programming languages C have uh, length restrictions, but here we don't have length restrictions. Okay, so that's about the identifiers and the corresponding rules. Yeah. So coming to the tokens or the identifiers which are identified from our first program, where we are printing hello Java. So now what is public actually? So public is a keyword. So most of the things that you see in the first program are keywords only. What is a class? Class is also a keyword. So out of the 53 keywords, right? So these are all the keywords. And what is first? First is a name of a class. It's a name of a class. Which class? It's a user defined class. I am defining this class and I have written a main method in it and I have a statement that is getting printed. Okay, so names of classes, methods are also identifiers. Then static. So what is static? Static has a predefined meaning, so it's a keyword. And void is actually written type. Again, it's a keyword. Okay, so then main. So main is a name of a method. It's a name of method. It's not a keyword. It's the name of a method, that is the main method. And it is also user defined method. So I'm defining that method. I'm writing what should be there in the method. I'm defining it. So that's why main is also user defined method, and which is actually the name. It's also an identifier. String. A string is a class actually. Okay, it's not a keyword. It's a name of a class. It's a name of a class. Which class? It's not user defined class, but it is an API class. It is an API class. That means it's already available in Java API. As I told you already, Java API is very big. You can actually go and see always. Uh, uh, you can go to that API documentation and always you can actually verify, right? So string is actually available in package called java.lang.string. So this is the fully qualified name. So it's a predefined class. So it is also an identifier, and which is name is string, and it's a predefined class. What about args? Args is actually a variable. Args is a variable, right? These identifiers can be keywords, names, and variables also, right? It's a variable of what? It's a variable of type string. It's a variable of type string, and it's a array variable actually. So it is actually representing an array. What is the system? System is again name of class. It's a name of class, and which class? It's already available. We have discussed already on the lang package. It's already available in the lang package. So it's a predefined class, right? Then out. So what is out? So out is again a variable. It's a variable which is available in a class called system, right? And yeah, so it's a static variable, of course. If we go into deeper, this is a static variable. And now what is println? So println is a method name. So name of a method. It's the name of a method. So, and it's a predefined method. It's a predefined method. Okay, where is this method? It's not a custom method, just like main. It's a predefined method which is available in a class that is called print stream. This is available from a class called print stream. Okay, and finally, so there is a literal actually, and this is a string literal. Okay, we have 10 means it is an integer literal. Anything in double quotes is a string literal actually. Okay, so in the first program, we have so many named words which are nothing but identifiers. Some are keywords, some are names of classes, some are names of methods, some are variables, and what else is possible is constants. Of course, I didn't have any constant defined over here, but we can also have constants available in a class. Okay, so this is about the identifiers. Let's now understand variable and a constant. Okay, so what is a variable? So let me actually make up a new file and define a variable. Okay, so variable is something which is going to hold some data item. So variable is going to hold a data item in it. It can be of any type. Okay, item of any type. So for example, we have seen args actually. So args is actually holding a string type data, string array in our first program. So we have something like this, right? So string array args. So this is going to hold what? We have seen already command line arguments. This is going to hold string values, right? So variable is something which is going to hold or store data items of some type actually, of we can say some type. So that type we have to decide. As an example, if I say int x, this x is going to hold whole numbers. Okay, for example, I have something called double age. This age is going to hold some age actually. Okay, so it's a number, it's a floating point number because it's a double, right? It's a floating point number. So 8.5 years or 15.6 years, something like that. Okay, in the same fashion, we have some Boolean let's say status, and this is going to contain a logical value, either it is a true or false actually. So these are the Boolean values. Okay, so whenever I'm speaking of a variable, I am actually specifying its type also. So type is nothing but the data type. Okay, so these data types are also identifiers. These data types are also identifiers. Of course, these data types are keywords. These are keywords, and out of those keywords, we have eight data types, eight keywords which we call as a data type. Okay, so now here the point is, whenever you speak of a variable, you are associating its type also. So without type in Java, there is no variable that exists. So Java is a strongly typed language. We can actually say a strongly typed language. So strongly typed language means we have to specify clearly types. You have to clearly specify what is the type of the data you are working with. Whereas there are some languages which are loosely typed. As an example, JavaScript, which is loosely typed, Python, which is loosely typed. There you need not to mention the data type. Okay, so these are some understanding about the variable. Now, this variable has a property that is variable has a tendency to change. Tendency to change. Okay, for example, if I say int x equal to 10, it can be later. So somebody can write like this. So x equal to x plus 10. So x value is going to be how much? 20, right? So variable is something which varies during program execution. It varies during program execution. It has the tendency to change, to vary. So that's why the name has come as variable. Okay. Now let's understand three things about variables. One is variable declaration. Variable declaration. And then we will see a variable initialization. Variable initialization and variable assignment. Variable assignment. So most of the time we will be using all these things. So let's have actually the clarity about all this declaration, installation, and assignment. So in order to declare a variable, we must have to specify the type. So let me actually declare a variable that is called int. Let's say now I am saying age actually. So age I took now as integer. Okay. So which is going to take a whole number. Now I am going to take double salary. The salary I'm taking as a double value. So this is what declaration. So age is of type integer, salary is of type double, and name is of type string. A string is actually a class. It's sequence of characters. We can create string objects using the string class. So name is of type string, so it is going to hold a name. This is just declarations. Okay, you can declare Boolean values also. So Boolean status, and the status value either can be true or false. This is just declaration. I am not giving any value to it. Okay, so what is initialization? So initialization is something at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration, if you provide any values to it. So for example, int age equals to 21. Now it is initialized. At the time of declaration itself, you are providing a value, then it's a variable initialization. And salary, I am giving certain value like 86,100.75. It's a double value to me, right? This is what initialization. String name equal to, let's say, Java, and any string has to be specified with the double quotes. Okay, and Boolean status equal to true. So true straight away we have to give no single quotes, no double quotes. In fact, we have a char data type. We can actually say char ch equal to y. Okay, a character has to be specified in single quotes. So if you want to declare this, you can actually declare something like this. Yeah, this is just a declaration. This is just a declaration. But here what I'm doing, I'm initializing also. Either this thing or this thing can be followed. If you already know the values, you can do this. Otherwise, later, later, after declaration, later you can assign values to them. Okay, so this is the variable initialization. This is clear, right? Once you declare, later you can assign values to them. That is called variable assignment. So now I can say here, I declared already age. Now I am saying age equal to 18. So this is what assignment. See, when you are assigning, there is no type here because it's already declared. Okay. Now you are saying status equal to false. So now you are assigning a value to the status. Okay. Like this, we have declaration, initialization, and assignment. Okay. You can declare, later you can assign values, but at the time of declaration, you provide a value that is called initialization. This is about the variables, and each variable based on the type will get actually some space allocated in the memory. So those things we will actually see as part of the data types. Okay, so before actually going to the next thing, that is constants, let me actually show you in my slides a few things about the variables. Yeah, so these are some of the variable declarations. I declared all three integers at once. Here I have initialized variables at the time of declaration. This is called initialization, and this is also initialization, and this is also initialization. So everything is initialization here. The last four are initializations, and only first one is declaration. Okay, and yeah. So now let's understand the constant. What is a constant? Okay, variable is something which actually varies during the program execution. Now let's understand about constant. So in C and C++, in order to represent a constant, that means the value which we are not going to change once we initialize it. Okay, is specified using a keyword called const, constant. But in Java, even though we have the keyword constant, we will use a modifier called final. This final is a modifier. By using this modifier, we can actually define a constant in our program. Okay, for example, I want to define pi. So what I do is I will just say something like this. For example, if I say something like this, double pi equal to 3.14159, it is a variable. It's just a variable. How I make this as a constant? By specifying as a final. So this pi value is going to be a final. So final means it cannot be changed. It cannot be modified. If you try to modify, for example, you want to say something pi equal to pi plus something, for example, pi plus 10, then it is going to give you a compile time error. Okay. So constant means unchanged actually. Okay, constant means unchanged value, not modifiable value. So that will be only one value throughout your program. Okay, so in order to specify, we require to use a final modifier. And one more thing I would like to specify over here, whenever you want to declare a final variable, it is recommended that always the final variable should be in capital case. Always they should be in capital case. Okay, as an example, I have already declared pi. I kept everything in capital case. Right, that is a Java recommendation. For example, I want to say max age. So I will do like this: final double max underscore age. It is more than one word, then I will separate with underscore. That is a Java recommendation. Max underscore age. So because it's a constant value, you have to give. The value also. Right? You have to provide the value also. You have to initialize because it's constant. Okay. Later you cannot give a value. You cannot change it. Right? And similar examples. For example, I want to say, yeah, max height. So I can say like this: max underscore height. Okay, so the max height we are saying is let's say 6. Okay, yeah, like this. Whenever you specify um, the constant, the capital case has to be used. More than one word is there, then separate with the underscore. This is the Java recommendation. So in order to make you understand, just let me actually go to my first Java program, and here I just want to declare a final variable. A final, I will actually take a double, and yeah, so I am going to define some interest rate. Actually, I'm going to define some interest rate. So how to write interest rate? So I have to write like this: interest underscore rate. Okay, so you have to specify interest rates. Let's say that is 8.5. Okay, and you can actually use this interest rate in your calculations. Okay, so you can actually print also a PL interest rate equal to, you can just print this interest rate will get printed. Now later, if at all you want to change this interest rate, if you want to change this interest rate is equal to interest rate plus some 1% has got increased, and it is going to give you a compile time error for sure. Okay, let's see. Let's compile this program and let's see whether it is giving you a compile time error or not, because you are trying to change a constant which cannot be changed. So now let's see, we are actually into the same package where my program is there. Let me compile this Java C first. Yeah, so first.java is available. Yeah, now you can see a compile time error, cannot assign a value to the final variable interest rate. Okay, so if this is not there, I can put comment over here and this will absolutely works fine. Let's see Java C first.java compiled successfully, and I can say Java first, and you can actually see 8.5 and hello Java is getting printed. So this is about the constants. So let me open my presentation here and show you the related information. Yeah, let me actually open here. It's here actually. So constant is an identifier, and its value cannot be changed. Okay, the compiler issue an error if you try to change, and we use final modifier to do that. And whenever you write, you have to use capital cases. Fine. Yeah, so let me actually go back to the code and identifiers. So variables we understood, constants we understood. There are 53 keywords, and data types we'll see in the next session. And how about names of classes? So it is easy to understand. In your program, your class name is an identifier. You just have to follow the rules which are mentioned. Your method names also identifiers. You just have to follow the rules. And later on, we'll be writing interfaces. We'll be creating enums. We'll be creating packages, and we'll be using literal values. All have to be follow the rules of this identifiers actually. Of course, your literal values can be anything. Your literal values can be anything. It can be with spaces, etc. also, because they are values. They are not programmatic words. Okay, that can be anything. So we can actually remove that also. But whereas the package names, interfaces, methods, classes, everything must have to follow the rules of the identifiers. Okay, so hope you have understood identifiers. Uh, Accept these data types. This data types is an important concept, so we will actually take up this as a next session. So thank you, and we'll see you with a new video.